you think people should be concerned that the president posted somewhat of an incoherent tweet last night?
The president and a small group of people know exactly what he meant.
Quote, Hitler didn't even sink to the level of using chemical weapons. What did you mean by that?
He brought him into the Holocaust Center. I understand that, but I'm saying in the way that Assad used them, where he went into towns, dropped them down to innocent into the middle of towns. It was brought.
Speaker Ryan today said there's no evidence. The National Association of Secretaries of State say that they don't agree with the president's assessment. What evidence do you have?
As I said, I think the president has believed that for a while.
You know, we're not going to change the minds of Americans. I get that. Americans are going to feel how they feel.
The White House doesn't have 50 votes to confirm Neera Tanden as OMB director, and yet we heard from the White House Chief of Staff say that the White House is they're going to fight their guts out. Fight our guts out was the phrase he used to get her confirmed. So why push for that and not push as hard, one could say, for raising the minimum wage?
Well, I think that's mixing a few things kind of irresponsibly, if I'm just being totally honest. I would say on the minimum wage, the president included a raise of the minimum wage in his package because he felt strongly that it's long overdue, that men and women working hard, trying to make ends meet, shouldn't be living at the poverty level. That's why he put it in his package. There is a process that it goes through, a parliamentary process, when it's a reconciliation bill, as you know, but for people who haven't been following all the nitty-gritty of this, because it's a budgetary bill. That's why it went through the process. And, you know, again, I would send you to talk to leaders in Congress to see if they have the 50 votes necessary, but regardless, the president, the vice president have made the decision they're not going to move forward with that step, but also it's not a simple process. It requires two steps. As it relates to Neera Tanden, she is somebody who has decades of experience. She is qualified. She is prepared to lead the budget team, and we're continue, of course, to fight for the confirmation of every nominee that the president puts forward. We'll see if we have 50 votes. That's part of the journey. That's part of democracy in action.
That video is so infuriating, and I'm about to go off. So first of all, nice little scold you have there for a reporter asking you a legitimate question. Referring to his question as irresponsible is the same kind of tactic that Trump and Trump administration officials would use to basically communicate to reporters that they don't like those questions and maybe you should shut up. Now, obviously the Trump administration was a lot less subtle, but the scold there was pretty clear. And I don't think it was an irresponsible question at all. It's one thing for Biden to say he's in favor of the $15 an hour minimum wage. It's something completely different to actually fight to get it passed through his relief plan.
The polls that show the American people and also significant majorities within the Democratic Party don't want him to run again. And the polls that show his handling of the economy, foreign policy, all of these dismal polls, his job approval ratings. Does the White House have any basis to challenge the accuracy of that polling?
I'm not challenging the accuracy here. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying to you is that, you know, we're not going to change the minds of Americans. I get that. Americans are going to feel how they feel.
You should, though. You should really try to change the minds of the Americans because the polls look really bad. I'm not telling you how to run for office, but generally you want people to not hate you.
You know, someone as despicable as Hitler, who didn't even sink to using chemical weapons.
Do you think people should be concerned that the president posted somewhat of an incoherent tweet last night?
The president and a small group of people know exactly what he meant.
Quote, Hitler didn't even sink to the level of using chemical weapons. What did you mean by that?
He brought him into the Holocaust Center. I understand that, but I'm saying in the way that Assad used them, where he went into towns, dropped them down to innocent into the middle of towns. It was brought.
Speaker Ryan today said there's no evidence. The National Association of Secretaries of State say that they don't agree with the president's assessment. What evidence do you have?
As I said, I think the president has believed that for a while. I think anybody who undermines the success of that rage owes an apology and a disservice to the life of Chief Owens.
Is that your message to Senator John McCain?
That's my message to anybody.
I think Mr. Acosta owes the president-elect and frankly the entire press corps an apology for his childish and inappropriate behavior.
President Obama went outside the chain of command. He didn't use the NSA, he didn't use the CIA, he didn't use the FBI, and he didn't use the Department of Justice. He used GCHQ. What is that? It's the initials for the British intelligence spying agency, that it was, wiretapping. That spans a whole host of surveillance types of options. I think some people are clearly upset, but there is a bit of professional protester manufactured base in there. The president used the word wiretap in quotes to mean broadly surveillance and other activities. That is absolutely not true. There are no dossiers being kept. Just a binder that I put right here. That's about it. That was a joke. Photographs of the inaugural proceedings were intentionally framed in a way, in one particular tweet, to minimize the enormous support that had gathered on the National Mall. I think through a lot of the actions and statements that he's going to make, I think the contributions of Frederick Douglass will become more and more. Kristen, all of this space was full when the president took the oath of office. And to make sure that if they are a 5-year-old, that maybe they're with their parents and they don't pose a threat. But to assume that just because of someone's age or gender or whatever, that they don't pose a threat would be misguided and wrong. This audience to ever witness an inauguration.
That suit didn't even remotely fit.
No, that was
the 21st.
that early on.
And Trump had criticized him for his suits. It's a big one for appearances.